As the cold morning light crept across Millbrook's narrow streets, Oliver Bennett stood in his father's old workshop, surrounded by memories and mounting challenges. The once bustling mechanical repair shop now seemed more like a monument to lost dreams than a functioning business. Toolboxes lined the walls, each drawer holding memories of his father's skilled hands and unwavering dedication. Oliver's fingers traced the worn workbench, remembering how his father had taught him every intricate detail of mechanical repair. The walls were covered with faded photographs, proud moments of successful repairs, community events, and family gatherings. But now those memories felt distant, almost like ghosts watching over a dying dream. The bank statements told a brutal story. Overdue bills, declining income, and mounting expenses created a suffocating financial landscape. Oliver had inherited not just his father's workshop, but also a mountain of debt that seemed impossible to climb. Local businesses were shutting down, and the once thriving industrial town of Millbrook was slowly losing its heartbeat. Each morning, Oliver would wake up before sunrise, hoping today would be different. He would put on his father's old work jacket, now slightly worn and faded, and prepare for another day of uncertainty. The jacket felt like a weight of expectations, a reminder of the legacy he was desperately trying to preserve. The workshop was more than just a business to Oliver. It was his family's history, his connection to his late father, and the only thing he had left. Every tool, every machine, every corner held a story. The old welding machine in the corner was where his father had taught him his first welding technique. The dusty shelves contained spare parts collected over decades, each with its own history, but hope was becoming a rare commodity. Local manufacturers were choosing cheaper out-of-town repair services. The big machinery companies no longer saw value in small, family-run workshops like Oliver's. Each rejected, quote, each missed opportunity felt like another nail in the workshop's coffin. Oliver's daily routine became a delicate dance of survival. He would wake up early, check his limited finances, make strategic repairs for the few loyal customers who still remembered his father's reputation, and then spend hours looking for new opportunities. Some days, he would barely cover the electricity bill. Other days, he would have no income at all. The town seemed to be watching him, waiting to see if he would fail. Millbrook had seen many family businesses collapse in recent years. The industrial heart of the community was slowly being replaced by impersonal corporate structures. Oliver represented something more, a connection to the town's working-class roots, a reminder of what once made the community strong. His mother, who lived in a small apartment across town, would call daily. Her voice carried a mixture of worry and hope. "Don't give up, Oliver," she would say. "Your father never gave up, and neither should you." Those words became his daily motivation, a lifeline in the sea of financial uncertainty. Local friends and remaining customers would sometimes stop by not just for repairs, but to offer moral support. They understood what the workshop meant to the community. It wasn't just a business, it was a symbol of resilience, of local skill and dedication. As winter approached, Oliver knew he was facing his biggest challenge yet. Heating bills would increase, work would become scarcer, and his financial buffer was almost non-existent. Yet something inside him refused to surrender. The same stubborn determination that had defined his father's life now burned within him. He would look at the old photographs, remembering his father's lessons. "Her good mechanic," his father would say, "is not just someone who fixes machines. He fixes hope. He keeps communities moving." Those words echoed in the quiet workshop, a beacon of motivation in dark times. Oliver didn't know what the future held. He didn't know if he could save the workshop, but he knew one thing: he would fight, not with grand gestures or impossible dreams, but with daily persistence, with skill, and with the quiet courage that ran in his family's blood. As the day's first light filtered through the dusty workshop windows, Oliver picked up a wrench, the same wrench his father had used decades ago. Another day of possibility had begun. The end. The bank's cold, sterile environment seemed worlds apart from Oliver's warm, oil-scented workshop. Emma Hartley sat behind her desk, reviewing yet another set of seemingly hopeless financial documents. She had seen countless small businesses fail, But something about Oliver's file caught her attention. Oliver entered the bank, looking slightly out of place. His work jacket was clean but worn, his hands still marked with engine grease. He carried a folder of documents that represented his entire financial history, a story of struggle and determination. Most bank managers would have dismissed him immediately, but Emma was different. As Oliver explained his situation, Emma listened carefully. She saw beyond the numbers. She saw a man fighting to preserve his family's legacy, a small business that represented more than just mechanical repairs. Her eyes tracked his passionate explanation, noting the pride in his voice when he spoke about his father's workshop. The bank had strict lending policies. Typically, Oliver would have been rejected without a second thought. But Emma saw potential where others saw risk. She understood that behind every set of numbers was a human story, a community's heartbeat. Her own father had run a small hardware store, and she knew the challenges of family businesses. During their conversation, Emma asked detailed questions. She wasn't just assessing financial risk, she was understanding Oliver's vision. His knowledge about mechanical repairs was impressive. He wasn't just a mechanic, he was a craftsman who understood machinery at a deeper level. The local economic climate was brutal. Millbrook had been losing businesses rapidly. Large corporations were replacing small family-run operations. Emma recognized that Oliver's workshop was more than a business. It was a community anchor. Each repair he made kept local machinery running, supporting small manufacturers and farmers. After a lengthy discussion, Emma made a decision that would change everything. Instead of a standard loan rejection, she proposed a unique small business support package. It wasn't just about money, it was about providing strategic guidance and a chance for revival. Oliver was stunned. He had expected another rejection, another closed door. But Emma was offering something more. She was offering hope. Her proposal included a modest loan, but more importantly, it came with mentorship and business development support. "Your workshop isn't just a repair shop," Emma explained. "It's a critical part of Millbrook's economic ecosystem. We need businesses like yours to survive." Her words carried genuine conviction. She wasn't just a bank manager, she was becoming an unexpected ally. Word spread quickly through Millbrook. A bank manager who actually supported local businesses. It seemed almost too good to be true. Emma's approach was revolutionary in a time when most financial institutions saw small businesses as disposable. For Oliver, this was more than a financial lifeline. It was validation. Someone finally saw the potential in his workshop, in his vision. Emma's belief gave him renewed energy. He started seeing his business not as a failing enterprise, but as the opportunity waiting to be transformed. Their professional relationship gradually developed into a genuine friendship. Emma would occasionally visit the workshop, learning about mechanical repairs. Oliver would explain complex machinery processes, and she would offer business strategy insights. They became an unlikely team, united by a shared commitment to preserving local economic traditions. The loan wasn't massive, but it was strategic. It allowed Oliver to upgrade some equipment, invest in marketing, and create a more efficient workshop layout. Emma helped him develop a business plan that highlighted his unique skills and community connections. Millbrook began to take notice. Other small business owners started approaching Emma, hoping for similar support. She had become a symbol of hope in a town that had almost forgotten what support looked like. For Oliver, every repaired machine now felt like a small victory. The workshop was no longer just surviving, it was beginning to thrive. Emma's intervention had been more than financial. It was transformational. As winter approached, the workshop hummed with renewed energy. The old machines, once silent and dusty, now sang with purpose. Oliver looked around, seeing not just a business, but a living testament to resilience, friendship, and unexpected connections. The story of Oliver and Emma was just beginning. Narrative of hope, built one repair at a time. The end. The morning fog hung low over Millbrook, casting a grey veil over the town's quiet streets. Oliver arrived at his workshop to find an unexpected envelope tucked beneath the door. His hands trembled slightly as he opened it, revealing a formal proposal from a group of local property developers. They wanted his workshop. Not just a simple offer, but a calculated attempt to pressure him into selling. The proposed amount was significant, more money than Oliver had ever seen in his life. For many, it would have been an instant solution to financial struggles, but for Oliver, it felt like an attack on everything his family had built. Whispers began circulating through the town. The developers weren't just interested in one property. They wanted to reshape Millbrook's entire industrial district. Old workshops, family businesses, local manufacturing spaces, all were potential targets. Oliver's workshop stood as a last bastion of the town's traditional economic backbone. Emma learned about the proposal during one of her regular visits. Her face hardened with determination. "They're trying to push you out," she said, studying the documents carefully. The proposal was designed to look attractive on the surface, but masked a more aggressive strategy of community displacement. Local business owners started taking sides. Some saw the developer's offer as a potential economic boost, while others recognized it as a threat to Millbrook's core identity. Oliver found himself at the center of a growing conflict that was about much more than just one workshop. The pressure intensified. Anonymous phone calls, subtle threats, unexpected visits from mysterious investors. The tactics became increasingly aggressive. Oliver knew they were testing his resolve, hoping he would break under the mounting stress. But Oliver had something the developers didn't understand: community support. Old customers, families he had helped over decades, began rallying around him. They remembered his father, they respected his work, and they saw the workshop as more than just a business. Word spread quickly. Local farmers brought him small jobs. Manufacturers who had previously overlooked his workshop now sent repair requests. It was a silent rebellion against corporate intrusion. Each repair became an act of community resistance. Emma used her banking connections to investigate the developers. She discovered they had a history of buying out local businesses, replacing community spaces with generic commercial developments. Their plans would destroy Millbrook's unique character, replacing local craftsmanship with impersonal corporate structures. The town hall meeting became a pivotal moment. Oliver, typically quiet and reserved, stood up and spoke about his workshop's history. He talked about his father, about generations of mechanical expertise, about the value of local skills. His speech was simple but powerful, a raw, honest defense of community values. To everyone's surprise, the meeting turned into a show of solidarity. Farmers, small business owners, and long-time residents stood with Oliver. They weren't just supporting a mechanic, they were protecting their town's identity. The developers hadn't expected such resistance. Their carefully planned strategy was crumbling. Public opinion was shifting, and their aggressive tactics were being exposed. Emma provided critical support, helping Oliver navigate legal challenges. She connected him with local legal resources, ensuring he had professional guidance. Her involvement signaled to the developers that Oliver wasn't alone. As weeks passed, the developers' approach changed. Their confident swagger was replaced by frustration. The community had united in a way they hadn't anticipated. Oliver's workshop had become a symbol of resistance, a reminder that some things were worth more than money. The turning point came, unexpectedly. A local manufacturing company, impressed by Oliver's integrity and community support, offered a significant contract. It was more than just a business opportunity, it was a community's collective victory. Oliver looked around, his workshop now buzzing with renewed energy. The old machines seemed to hum with pride, witnesses to a battle that was about more than just one small business. It was a testament to the power of community, of standing together against external pressures. The developers retreated. Millbrook had sent a clear message: their community was not for sale. The end, the massive manufacturing truck rolled into Millbrook on a crisp autumn morning, its engine breaking the town's usual quiet. Oliver stood outside his workshop, watching with a mixture of hope and nervous anticipation. This was the contract that could change everything, a complex machinery repair job for Henderson Industrial Systems, the largest manufacturing company in the region. The project seemed impossible from the start. 3 other repair shops had already refused the job, claiming the machinery was beyond repair. But Oliver saw something different. Where others saw a hopeless mess of broken components, he saw a puzzle waiting to be solved. Inside the workshop, the old machinery came to life. Tools that had been passed down from his father now danced in Oliver's skilled hands. Each movement was precise, each decision calculated. He worked through the night, mapping out the intricate repair strategy that would save the company millions. In replacement costs, Emma visited during one of his marathon repair sessions. She brought coffee and sandwiches, understanding that this contract was more than just a job. It was a lifeline for the entire workshop. "You can do this," she would say, her confidence a steady flame of support. The machinery was a complex industrial generator, damaged during a critical production run. Most repair shops would have recommended complete replacement, a solution that would cost Henderson Industrial Systems hundreds of thousands of pounds. But Oliver saw a different path. He broke down each component, understanding its individual function and the intricate relationship between parts. His father's lessons echoed in his mind. A true mechanic doesn't just replace, he understands and restores. Those words became his guiding principle. Days turned into weeks. Oliver worked with a concentration that bordered on obsession. He contacted specialist manufacturers, researched unique repair techniques, and developed a comprehensive restoration plan. This wasn't just about fixing a machine, it was about proving the value of skilled craftsmanship. The local community watched with growing excitement. Word spread about Oliver's ambitious project. People would stop by the workshop, offering encouragement, bringing him extra coffee, showing support in small but meaningful ways. As the repair neared completion, challenges multiplied. Specialized parts needed precise alignment. Microscopic adjustments could mean the difference between success and failure. Oliver's hands, steady and confident, worked with a precision that seemed almost magical. Henderson's lead engineer arrived, unexpectedly one morning. He was skeptical, expecting to find another failed repair attempt. Instead, he discovered a workshop transformed into a precision engineering space, with the generator looking almost better than new. The testing phase was critical. Oliver had invested everything, his savings, his reputation, his workshop's future, into this single project. When the generator roared to life, producing power with perfect consistency, the workshop erupted. In quiet celebration, Henderson's team was stunned. What they had considered an impossible repair had been completed at a fraction of the expected replacement cost. Oliver had not just fixed a machine, he had demonstrated the value of traditional mechanical skills in a world increasingly dominated by disposable technology. The contract was more than financial success. It represented a validation of Oliver's approach, a testament to the skills his father had taught him. Local businesses began to see his workshop in a new light, not as a struggling family business, but as a critical technical resource. News spread quickly. Other companies began sending complex repair jobs, seeing Oliver as a specialist who could solve seemingly impossible technical challenges. The workshop, once on the brink of closure, now hummed with new energy and purpose. Emma watched with pride. Her belief in Oliver had been more than just a financial decision. She had seen potential where others saw only limitations. Their partnership had transformed not just a business, but demonstrated the power of community support. As evening fell, Oliver stood in his workshop, surrounded by the tools and machines that represented his family's legacy. The generator stood as a silent testament to his skill, his persistence, his unwavering belief in craftsmanship. Millbrook had a new hero, not a loud or flashy figure, but a quiet mechanic who solved problems others thought impossible. The end. Winter sun cast long shadows across Millbrook as Oliver's workshop transformed. What was once a struggling family business now buzzed with new energy and purpose. Young apprentices filled the space, their eager faces reflecting a renewed hope for the town's industrial future. Henderson Industrial Systems had become more than just a client. They became Oliver's primary advocate, recommending his services to manufacturers across the region. Each successful repair brought new opportunities, Each machine restored told a story of resilience and skill. Emma stood by Oliver's side, no longer just a bank manager, but a true partner in the workshop's revival. Her strategic guidance and belief had been crucial. Together, they had turned a failing business into a beacon of hope for local entrepreneurs. Word spread quickly. Local. Schools began sending students to learn mechanical skills at Oliver's workshop. What was once seen as a dying trade now became an attractive career path. Young people who might have left Millbrook now saw potential in staying, in building something meaningful. The apprenticeship program became Oliver's most significant achievement. He remembered his father's teachings and now passed those skills to a new generation. Each young mechanic learned more than just technical skills. They learned about commitment, integrity, and community. Local manufacturers started changing their approach. Instead of replacing machinery, they now sought repairs and restoration. Oliver's workshop became a symbol of sustainable business practices, proving that skilled craftsmanship could compete with mass production. Financial stability came slowly but surely. The workshop's reputation grew, bringing in contracts from beyond Millbrook. Oliver hired more staff, expanded the workshop's capabilities, and created a sustainable business model that honored his family's legacy. The town began to change. Other small businesses found inspiration in Oliver's story. They saw that with determination, skill, and community support, anything was possible. Millbrook was no longer just surviving, it was thriving. Emma's support went beyond financial assistance. She helped Oliver develop business strategies, connect with potential clients, and expand the workshop's reach. Their partnership became a model of how local businesses could support one another. Community events now celebrated local craftsmanship. Oliver was invited to speak at business conferences, sharing his story of survival and success. He became a symbol of hope, showing that traditional skills still had value in a rapidly changing world. The workshop walls became a museum of sorts. Old photographs of his father, restored machinery, and apprentice projects created a visual history of Millbrook's industrial spirit. Visitors would walk through, feeling the passion and dedication embedded in every corner. Local government began recognizing the importance of small businesses like Oliver's. Policies changed, support programs were created, and a new appreciation for local craftsmanship emerged. Oliver's workshop had become more than a business. It was a catalyst for community transformation. The young apprentices became Oliver's greatest pride. They brought new energy, new ideas, and a commitment to preserving traditional mechanical skills. Each one carried forward the legacy that began with Oliver's father decades ago. Financial challenges hadn't disappeared completely, but they no longer seemed insurmountable. Oliver had learned to adapt, to innovate, to see opportunities where others saw obstacles. The workshop was a living testament to the power of persistence. As evening fell, Oliver would often stand in the workshop, surrounded by the sounds of machinery and the warmth of his team. The space that once felt like a monument to lost dreams now pulsed with life and possibility. Millbrook had found its heart again. Through one man's determination, through a community's support, hope had been restored. The workshop was more than a business. It was a symbol of what people could achieve when they worked together. Emma would sometimes visit in the evenings, sharing a cup of tea and discussing future plans. Their friendship, born from a chance encounter, had transformed not just a business but an entire community's future. The old machines continued to hum, telling a story of resilience, skill, and unwavering hope. Oliver's father would have been proud. Millbrook was alive again. The end.